Thought I closed that out. Now you gotta close it out twice just for the new ride. Yeah. Gotta close it out twice just for the new ride. Let's put that on mute. I don't need to hear none of that. Blood clot! Inmate dick! Inmate dick! No. Alright. Ah, it's Tasman 93. We are here with Dibba Daylight. Dibba. We can play some Call of Duty later. I'm gonna get on some DD right now. Survival mode! Let's see what's cracking lacking in these DVD streets. In these streets. Hopefully they don't do me wrong. Up above. Teddy! Biggie! What's going on? Hey, 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 hey. Ay, 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 ay. How y'all doing? Yuri, I see you, Yuri. You just slipped on in here. Oh, okay. I'm like, did it freeze? I see it moving now. Teddy! Damn, I'm already here. Oh, fuck. Oh, I'm the session already? God! Get him, he not even playing! Ah! They got him too! We go to another gym. Hell no. Well, let's go get that one inside the building. He'll come around this corner. Yeah, I know I like to do the gyms inside the buildings. Come on. Ain't nobody up here. Ain't nobody doing no gyms neither. Wag ass. Kick ass. We got some Call of Duty later. You stupid bitch. Bitch, I don't want you. Move. Oh my fucking god. Bro, she getting a thumbs down, cuz. Oh my fucking gosh. I'm trying to finish the gym. You sabotaging, bro. Ain't nobody even doing gyms. Why this nigga in my face? Damn. She didn't even have to come up there, bro. He camping? Everybody get a fucking thumbs down. Ain't nobody even on the gym. What the fuck? I'll leave this game. Oh, now this bitch wanna be on the gym. Oh, hell no. Oh my god, bro. Fuck you. Ain't nobody gotta worry about me doing shit for them. I don't care if they save me or not. That motherfucker, CRZ, that bitch fucking unsportsmanlike conduct ass bitch. Yeah, kill that hoe. I shouldn't even do a gym. He got the clown perks. Iggy. Cause fuck you, bitch. You lucky someone saved your stupid ass. jam tonight. Oh shit. Bet I ain't even gotta get that whole thumbs down. That whole did. Alright, York man. May the best damsel in distress win. Goddamn birds. Ooh. Oh fuck. He going to it. There we go. Run! Run, Lodi, run, bitch! Oh. Okay. First match, first dub. Hey! Survivor World. So we start a count. Just play the game. Just play the game. Don't you wanna jam tonight? Jam tonight. I wanna jam. I wanna jam. What y'all know about that Freddie Jackson? Y'all don't know nothing about that Freddie Jackson. crazy. Drop pallet to stun the kill. Finna trace back. We ain't even do nothing on this. Guys, different perks. We could do it. Could do this riff or tone. So many. Why we stop? Why we stop? Great height. Skip the trial. 1 year of session once. Shit! That was the trial I was just in. Got some. Oh, because I'm in chapter 3. I was gonna say, they got some big points on this one. I wonder if they're gonna make me do a session. We can put some of them things on. Hold on. I'm all alone. Oh, I'm singing 2 different songs. Why did it end this way? Alright, here we go. Dr. Hollow, y'all know how it goes. They're kind of loud.
But against all odds, they made it out alive. If you love learning about history's most shocking
Too
survival
loud.
tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share
Too
your
low.
favorite survival story in the comments. And share your favorite survival story in the comments. And share your favorite survival.
Oops.
The following is inspired after listening to George Takei give a lecture on how U.S. Japanese
Hufflepuff?
citizens were treated in World War II. The article tells the story of a group of men who, for the most part, were regarded by the U.S. as being little better than the enemy. Perhaps their most amazing battle happened on the Gothic Line. The Gothic Line formed Field Marshal Albert Kesselring's last major line of defense in the final stages of World War II along the summits of the northern part of the Apennine Mountains during the fighting retreat of the German forces in Italy against the Allied armies in Italy commanded by General Sir Harold Alexander. The men of the 442nd came up with the daring idea. Their commanders realized that while the forward parts of the mountain were heavily defended, the backside of it,
That's good right there. Okay.
was not. A company of the
He gonna
442nd
check on his
volunteered
food.
to climb the rear of the mountain and to attack the enemy from this point, taking advantage of the fact that the Germans would not be expecting an attack from there. Late at night, they began to climb, slowly working their way up the treacherous 1,000-foot cliff. Not all made it. Many fell to their deaths, but they did not fall screaming. They fell silently. These men knew that if any sound was heard from this area, if any German sentry happened to hear the sound of a man screaming as he fell to his death, then the attack would fail. So they climbed in silence, and they died in silence.
Embarrassing story, but I can't pay my rent. My friend told me about how she got this $5,000 loan to pay off her bills, including rent. So I tried the same thing, and let me tell you guys, it works. Let me show you what I did. I went to fastloanadvance.com and selected how much I needed, so I selected $5,000. And then I answered some easy questions, and it only took a few minutes to do it. And I got the cash in my bank account the next day. Also, my credit score is really low, just to let you guys know. There are no hidden fees, and it was so fast. I mean, overall, it was a great experience. So if you guys need a loan, check out fastloanadvance.com.
Silence. The men climbed for nearly 8 hours, losing close to half their number to falling. Just before daybreak, they reached the top of the mountain. Hunkering down, they waited for the sun to come up and then pressed their attack. The Germans were caught by surprise, and as one company managed to not only take the hill but also break the back of the Gothic line. A 6-month stalemate was broken by the 442nd in roughly 32 minutes of hard fighting. When the war ended, the 442nd held the distinction of being the most decorated military unit in U.S. military history. The wreck of the Batavia. A story of shipwreck, mutiny, betrayal, murder, and, in the end, justice. A Dutch East India Company ship called the Batavia was on its maiden voyage to Batavia, modern Jakarta. It hit a reef off an isolated archipelago off the western Australian coast. Most made it to the little islands, but there wasn't any fresh water available, so they could only use what they salvaged from the wreck or harvested from occasional rainfall. The captain and a few others jumped into an open sailboat to try and find water on the mainland. If they couldn't, they were going to end up sailing to the city of Batavia to get help. They couldn't, so they did. This in itself is an amazing tale of survival and seamanship. Meanwhile, back on the islands, the bloke running the show, who was planning on mutinying and seizing the ship before it hit the reef, starts to consolidate his powers. He divides up the survivors and sends them to various islands under the guise of searching for fresh water. Meanwhile, he directs his fellow mutineers to start killing various people on the main island they are set up on. This develops into wholesale mass murder on the other islands he sent groups of people to.
No,
the women of age are generally spared to be used as sex slaves. However, a group of soldiers that has been sent to a larger island has actually found fresh water and food. These soldiers are not part of the mutineers and keep signaling to the main group that they have found supplies and come pick them up. But no assistance is sent. But they end up hearing of the mass murders from escapees.
You been doing okay?
They prepare defenses for the inevitable showdown. Eventually, the main mutineer decides that they need to attack this island. There are a series of little battles where the mutineers are prevented from gaining a foothold on the island. Eventually, help arrives from Batavia, and it turns into a race between the survivors, who want to be able to tell their story, and the mutineers, who want to take over the rescue ship. The survivors win. Justice is swift and harsh. However, 2 younger mutineers are marooned on the Australian mainland. The partition of India. It's sometimes referred to as a genocide. Basically, the British used the infamous divide and conquer rule to pit Muslims and Hindus against each other and propose a majority Muslim state and a majority Hindu state. Note that it was divided into West Pakistan.
Just picked up our dancer heading home now. All right.
What
Be safe, be safe.
10 to 20 million
Dolls,
people
be
displaced,
safe,
and those
please.
are rough estimates. Communal violence spiked, and people had to leave entire properties behind to escape to safety. Trains used to get pillaged and people murdered. Sometimes trains arrived at stations in silence, full of corpses. Gangs set entire villages on fire. Millions of women were raped, and subsequently were outcast from society. Pregnant women had breasts cut off and babies cut out of their bodies.
Jesus.
And men had members cut off based on having foreskin or not. Mindless murder and forced conversions. It's to India what the Holocaust is to Germany.
Be safe,
and I never see it
home,
mentioned in these threats.
Yes, thank you.
People now see it as Muslims wanted to
Yes,
move to a country of their own,
words.
and a few Muslims had that belief, but the majority were running from male violence.
Oh, they just put me right in front.
This wasn't
And
just
of course
a few
I'm not the
years. The violence
obsessionist.
continued until 1960, from 1946-ish, and its echoes follow us today. The worst part is that something similar has happened again when India intervened to liberate East Pakistan.
Got both me
Now
memes.
Bangladesh. That's an entirely different set of wars, which I can't elaborate on due to lack of personal knowledge. But I do know that the soldiers used to kill Bangladeshi professors, scientists,
We ain't saving nobody unless they doing the
and
shit.
intellectual progress. Everyone in the North knows some relative who saw the horrors in first person. The tales of endurance are truly remarkable. E.S. William Darrowland will have a good article on this in the New York Post. The survival of Native Americans, North, Central, and South, by the invaders, the European colonizers. They brought diseases that caused a substantial portion of the population to die. They established a system that enslaved, tortured, and killed most of the population. Sacred sites were robbed, and gold and silver and other treasures were sent to Europe to finance the colonizers' empire. The population was forbidden to speak their native language and practice their own cultural expressions. Most Native American cultures had vast knowledge of agriculture, architecture, astronomy, mathematics, other sciences,
Ooh, this
and a
one
great
down
respect
below.
for Mother Nature.
Down below. down below. It's two down there. Alright, let's go. Y'all know I like going in the basements and shit in the buildings. Come on.
One diver survived after being trapped for 3 hours. The corporate
Let's go get
operations
lost
manager
down
refused to allow
here.
a rescue attempt for the other workers. All realistic options should have been considered, says the report. Even if the camera revealed that which they sought, no plan to carry out a rescue had been put in place. No attempt was made to engage with the country's best experts in commercial diving, who had arrived on site.
Holiday.
Piper closed his mind to any alternative
Holiday.
without hearing
There's one over there.
We regard this as a serious breach of Harriet's duties under the
Once he gonna
ICAO.
bring his stupid ass
This is
down
not
here.
to suggest that a rescue must inevitably be sanctioned, but to recklessly close one's mind to alternatives carries the hallmark of a serious breach of duty. A GoPro camera was recovered from one of the deceased divers. Audio recordings from the camera show that all the men survived being sucked into the pipe, and in the audio they are heard praying. and
Welcome,
comforting.
welcome, welcome.
Harriet admitted they had no rescue plan.
Everyone's coming in
citing that they had no
slowly.
legal responsibility to rescue.
Me like you.
Absolutely monstrous.
Alright now, nigga. Y'all stay up top here now. Y'all let me do this gin and that other gin. It should be one. If Gamer Boy finish that gin here.
African Americans survived the genocide, so we don't know our original ethnicity and nation. We lost our languages, we lost our dress,
Oh.
our kinship structures, our religion, and our homeland. We underwent some of the most brutal chattel slavery that has happened in history. The process killed 15 to 20 million people. For comparison, there are 45 million of us today. We then underwent an apartheid that lasted many generations, persistent lynchings, and federal events became a staple of the carceral
You've
state.
been
We're still
all
underpaid, still
around.
disenfranchised, still stereotyped, and overlooked. Still
With
experiencing
two of
everything
a
else we
kind. I almost missed that skill check. Oh,
and have a host of other
sister.
issues. And in the midst of all this, we managed to create a cultural identity strong enough that its output is widely consumed by the world and has been a defining influence in much of, for example, contemporary music, fashion,
I
and even
love you
political theory.
from the
However,
morning.
historically, so much of it has been appropriated thus that it is not credited to black people, or the profit doesn't include the material conditions of black people. And to this day,
Oh, this one
you
all the
don't
way
see
over there,
people
too?
talk about American apartheid the same way as South African apartheid, so they ended a generation apart.
Gins
You don't see
everywhere,
much
gins
mention of the
everywhere.
genocide, despite
Gins
the
everywhere.
criteria.
Oh,
You don't see our political
sister.
theory.
Yeah, I was trying to get there. It got a little crazy. Are they working on this
The way
one?
you might see, for example, Kurdish or Palestinian or South African political writers. Rather, it is from a snapshot from the past, and the tragedy is not felt. Ernest
Where they
Shackleton's
dropped
Imperial
it?
Trans-Antarctic Expedition
Are
of
they above us?
1914 to 1917. It turned into a 2-year struggle for survival endured by the 28-man crew of the
Come on, Pedro.
The ship was beset and eventually crushed by
Finish that gin, Pedro.
leaving the men stranded on
Yes,
the
Lord. Bet.
The crew drifted on a series of ice
I caught it.
facing a second survival crisis when their final flow melted into the cold, salty water that surrounded them. They had salvaged 3 small ship boats and were able to launch them into the Southern Ocean. The castaways managed to land themselves safely on Elephant Island, off the coast of Antarctica. Shackleton then led a crew of 5 aboard the James Caird, the best surviving open boat, through the Drake Passage, even though there were no sun appearances.
Come on, Pedro.
Through the dead-reckoning skills of Shackleton and his navigator, Frank Worsley, the bedraggled party reached South Georgia Island 650 nautical miles away.
Vote for Pedro. Let's go.
Shackleton then led 2 of those men on the first successful overland crossing of South Georgia. 3 months later, he was finally able to rescue the remaining crew members of the left side of Elephant Island. Amazingly, all 28 men survived. It gave rise to the saying, in relation to polar expeditions, for scientific discovery give me sky, for speed and efficiency of travel give me ominous. But when disaster strikes and all hope is gone, get down on your knees and pray for Shackleton.
Oh my God.
Truth is stranger than fiction. Sir Ernest Shackleton led the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition, 1914 to 1917, aiming to make the first overland crossing of the Antarctic continent using 2 ships, the Endurance and the Aurora. The Endurance, a 3-masted sailing barkentine built in Norway and launched in 1912, was purchased by Shackleton in January 1914. The expedition departed South Georgia on December 5, 1914, carrying 27 crew members, a stowaway who became the ship's steward, 69 dogs, and a cat named Mrs. Chippy.
He
Within
left, he
days,
left, he left.
the Endurance encountered the pack ice surrounding
What's he
Antarctica
camping that body?
after making slow progress, became trapped in the ice of the
camping his
Weddell Sea
door.
on January 18, 1915. A situation described by crew member Thomas
Risque!
frozen like an almond in the middle of a chocolate bar. The ship drifted with the ice
He's getting chased.
enduring immense pressure that
All right.
eventually crushed it. On October
You
27,
could possibly save
the ice lifted the
whatever
ship's
the
stern,
name is,
tearing off its rudder
Strand.
and freezing water began to rush in. The crew abandoned the ship, removing their last
Once they
belongings
get 'em.
and establishing camp on the ice.
They got him.
25 days later,
Okay,
the
I'm
record
staying at the door.
endurance
Come on, Pedro. Come on, Pedro.
survived up there for 5 months, enduring extreme cold, hunger,
What was
and the
that?
constant threat of the floe breaking up. On April 9, 1916, the floe split, and the men launched their 3 lifeboats to reach Elephant Island, a desolate ice-covered outpost,
Jesus.
after a grueling 6-day journey across the Southern Ocean. From Elephant Island,
Where you at, Pedro?
along with 5 others, undertook one of the most famous boat voyages in history, sailing the 22-foot lifeboat James Caird for 800 miles across the storm-ravaged Southern Ocean to South Georgia to seek rescue. After a perilous trek across the island's mountainous terrain, Shackleton reached a whaling station and organized a rescue mission that successfully brought all 22 men stranded on Elephant Island back to safety. A lot of people think Ireland and Britain have just been friends forever.
No, where's
What makes
Pedro?
you think the same guys who colonized the
Come on, Pedro.
lands left the little island next door?
Yes, Pedro got out. Yes, Pedro got out.
And it's
Let's
600
fucking
years
go. Vote for fucking Pedro.
which they spun as a
Oh, my
scheme
mama,
for
cuz.
in the years leading up to it, land was taken from native Irish.
GG. Let's give Pedro a thumbs up.
Hired back onto their farms and workers. By the time of the famine, 5% of the land was owned by Irish. No Irish language was allowed, and our culture was stomped out. We had to have Catholic mass in the bushes and keep our language alive the same way through the threat of death.
I hope everyone's having a lovely day.
If you look at Irish history,
A lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day.
great pride at heart, but lacking physical manpower and firepower.
Should we keep a count? A dub count? Or, well, skate count? It's all the same, man.
And it failed to clear
That's,
the last hurdle, but the impact still hit, and it caused the
two-
ripple that caused independence finally.
230
When people
minutes.
say the Irish are so nice and happy and full of life, yeah, because misery was beaten into us for 700
Yes.
years. That's why we are so okay around death also.
Yes. Okay.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Oh, yes, sir. Wow. It's already rolling now for this new season.
Let's get it! What's everybody cooking for dinner? I know it's 2:22. Thank you for the numbers. It's 2:22 where I am. What y'all cooking for dinner? I got so I haven't had this in a long time, to be honest with you. I think my mom probably made this when I was a child. I don't know, but I'm making crock pot pork chops with cream of mushroom with some white rice. Wow. It's some spinach on. It's gonna be a minute for the pork chops to get done. That crock pot. It's fine. I'm starting to smell. I'm starting to smell a little aroma here. I don't even eat pork like that, but I don't know. I got a little taste for pork, so I'll just go with the pork chops. I always soak my meat in 7-Up or any kind of pop. I really do soak my meat in some kind of soda, pop, something.
The order came down to kill all of the
I'm
remaining
looking for
prisoners.
that
They got
now.
corpses to burn
LOL.
themselves
Oh,
to destroy
dinner,
evidence.
2
And
up. Shit,
public
you
camp
finna
before
hit
the
20
parties
bar
arrived.
today? No, I gotta get on Call of Duty sometime today.
Resulting in
If I hit 20 bar, that is
Out of about
crazy.
1,000 remaining
I wouldn't say it's
600
crazy. It's
decided to
definitely
go for it.
possible.
The other 400 stayed
Definitely,
and were murdered by the
it's
Ustashi.
been doable,
They rushed the
doneable,
guards and fences and ran to the
completable.
forest. Out of 600, all were killed
Eee,
except for 70 to 100
my
people. Most of what we know about Usainobots comes
Oh,
from these
y'all are so
survivors.
cute in the chat.
Just read the wager about a boat by that name in the 1700s.
Oh, let's
Part of a small
Hufflepuff
British
for the
fleet attacked
cuteness
to
in
take a
the
Spanish
chat.
galleon with silver on it. They sailed all the way to Patagonia and tried to round
Oh,
Cape
look
Horn.
at y'all.
A good number of the crew were basically kidnapped and pressed to
2
service.
door shot
They get
already.
80-foot waves, ice, huge storms, scurvy, lice, and people dropping by the hundreds. Eventually,
I
they
should be
shipwreck on
eating
a
on that all
cold, barren
week.
island. The local tribesmen helped them for a while. Then, since these people are infighting and leave,
I ain't used
They
my
were
crock
invited.
pot in a
There was
minute
mutiny
either.
and murder,
Boy,
death,
I had to
and
pull that thing
starvation.
up out
This went
off
on
the shelf.
like
Excuse me.
8 months. Then part of the group took a small boat and fixed it enough to sail
Y'all going to the
3,000
club
miles
tonight?
through the Strait of Magellan up the Atlantic
Y'all
coast.
partying tonight?
Actually,
Or y'all
abandoned
staying
some of
in the
their
house
party
tonight?
didn't fit in the boat. More death and starvation. They made it
I've
to
been
civilization.
contemplating
Get arrested by the
all
Spanish.
day
Eventually released after a couple of
whether to
years.
go out and play
Meanwhile, the cold
or stay in
local
and
tribe
play.
helped make it to the Pacific coast to rescue immigrants. When they got back
We
to
still
England,
got all
there were
day.
dueling books, a court-martial, and eventually a white
Talk about in there. I want to go out too.
The middle passage from Africa to
I'll
the
pull it up in the Discord. I'll pull it up in the Discord.
Slaves were transported from the upper south to the lower south.
It'll probably be about 1 a.m. your time.
250 years of brutal slavery,
Buddy.
where rape and family separation were the norm in addition to being worked to death. The
I'll
mass
pull it
die
up
off
in
of
the
the
Discord.
formerly
It'll be
enslaved
crazy.
community after emancipation. Due to
I'm
deliberate
bringing the
neglect
club to
from
me
the
tonight.
US
Oh
government,
shit!
some estimate that 25%
Oh
of the
shit!
black population
There
died
you
due to
go.
disease and
I am the
starvation.
club. That's a Plies
Reconstruction
song.
leading to apartheid, aka Jim Crow,
I
with
am the
state-sanctioned
club.
segregation and socially
Take
accepted
the
terrorist
night.
groups killing and raping black Americans.
That
for
is a
decades
Plies
with approval
song.
from the
I
government and
am
white
the club.
society.
I ain't heard that song in a
Also,
long
extreme
time.
economic exploitation via sharecropping and political repression and
Talk
disenfranchisement.
about in there.
Where over 6 million black Southerners moved to other parts of the country.
I still got that 8%.
The largest migration within the
Hey,
US.
play smart and just do that 8% at the crib, baby.
Where our own government, due to white supremacy, flooded our communities with cocaine and built
Shit, 'cause
prisons
if I
to
eat that
penalize
food,
those
I'm
who
knocking
used and sold
out.
the very drugs they planted. It was a trap
I
set
already
by the
had some
government to
spicy
continue to
noodles.
sabotage and oppress black Americans. Our community still hasn't recovered.
Wait, we missed.
Since Op asks about survival,
missed it,
nearly
Bunny.
every one of the wagon train that gave Death Valiant's name did make it out alive. They owe their survival to two men, William Manley and John
Talk
Rogers.
about in there. Oh, I got a twin. And twins. I love parties that never end.
They brought horses,
Dogs that like
one
cats.
of which survived the
And
return journey.
and twins. I said it already. Y'all late. I'm not saying it again. I already just said it.
Everyone who trusted Manley survived the
Y'all
ordeal.
should have been quicker to
That
the
said,
notification.
soon after Manley and Rogers,
I've been in the Discord all day.
members of the wagon train about
I've
whether
been in
they
the
would be
Discord all day.
A few struck out on their own. Most of the party were farmers, not frontiersmen like Manley.
I don't
When
want to
Manley brought
hear
the
it.
party across the desert,
It's
they
already
passed the
spread
remains of their
across the
former friends who
board.
had tried to cross the desert alone. Manley later went to the California gold fields, made his fortune, and bought 250 acres of land in San Jose, California
God
for
damn.
$4,000. He wrote an account of his adventures in his book Death Valiant 49. In 1856 New York, a group of about 600 Mormons followed their prophets
Inmate dick.
west to Salt Lake.
Inmate dick. It's never too late to let people know about the inmate dick. They better watch out for that inmate dick.
Which meant the cards would
Be
more
stuck for
break
life.
and
What this
withdraw.
bitch throwing up? This hoe throwing up gang signs, cuz y'all see that? What she throwing up? What is that? She just put her fingers down. And then she just throwing back up. Who is that?
Belongings along the trail.
She
As the
sat
weather
tripping.
became colder
Who
and
is
the
that?
roads delayed more and more,
The
rations
fuck
were
is
cut
that?
and each person was allowed to have a cup
She
of
on
water
that
a day,
inmate
a quarter
dick.
cup for children.
LMFAO throwing that, so she throwing it up. You seen that? I know y'all seen that. She threw it up twice at us. What she think this is? We ain't them kind of people. We ain't them kind of folks around here.
Lost fingers and toes, of people falling asleep between loved ones and waking up next to frozen corpses.
Oh my God, falling asleep next to loved ones and waking up to frozen corpses is insane.
This is not regarded as a
You wonder why you waking up so
a
cold.
story of admirable faith and resilience.
They frozen to death.
Look what these people went through for their faith. They had
Mm.
the honor of suffering for our God. This ex-Mormon thinks the whole tragedy was insane and completely avoidable. The very young
I stay
children
home. I ain't
survived the
gotta
Mountain
spend.
Meadows
I ain't gotta get
massacre
no
in Utah.
gas.
They had to be bought by federal troops who arrived in force to retrieve them. They were captured by the Mormons in Utah, who had committed the massacre and killed or ordered the parents to be killed, in collusion with area native tribes with whom they shared the stolen bounty from the wagon trains.
That's that bitch who was set tripping.
After killing the parents, trail guides,
You might get us caught up, ho.
Their siblings over the age of 8. They then then stole all the children's and the family's belongings, passing them out to other
Oh
townspeople.
my god.
The ransoms paid by the federal troops were for food, clothing, and shelter allegedly freely given to the children by the caretaker families in town who claimed to save these kids and hope to adopt them someday.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh nigga, I'm scared. I ain't gonna hold you.
You're trying to make it.
What else you got for us? Hello. Hello. Can you go? Hello. Can you go? The creepiest true stories from people who woke up from a coma. Oh, Bomber Class!
Sometimes months, and waking up with no idea what happened.
Oh! 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 Oh!
Diving into chilling, emotional, and
Oh!
stories shared by real people who experience the unimaginable. Being in a coma and waking up. Make sure to smash the like
Now I'm
button,
not even the
subscribe,
obsession because I'm
and
doing
ring the
this obsession
notification bell
challenge.
so you don't
That's
miss
some
more unbelievable
motherfucking
real
shit
life
like
stories.
that.
The dreams were extremely long and in-depth. It kind of had an exploration of space mixed with a weird floating mystery for some of them. One was a weird rescue mission involving a helicopter and a fully enclosed container going over and around a mortar.
Go ahead and leave. I'll finish it. Oh, it's a bot. Come on, bot. Botarius.
Controlling blood as weapons and time modification, as well as a torn apart train in an underground tunnel with an old lady and a fully black smoke-type demon that was a good 7 feet tall that seemed to be there to collect the old lady when she steps out of the train only to be hit by another passing train.
God
I
damn.
don't recall hearing anyone speaking to me while under it, but I recall the heart attack that happened where I literally felt that my life was ending
Oh
right
my.
then and there, which I guess it kind of was. 16 months later, off a ventilator and slowly
OMG, my
learning to
Twitch
walk and
keeps
stand
kicking
again.
me out.
One
Oh,
upside, I didn't
boy.
technically have to deal with chemo
Oh,
since
no,
I was in the
E.
coma for about 2 or 3 months. I was in a coma for 6 days last year because I collapsed at home from pneumonia.
Now everybody's
I was
already on the
sedated and
hood.
intubated. I remember not feeling well.
What the hell
and
is
asleep in the
going
recliner.
on?
Then some blips, a ride in an ambulance, some very violent dreams and nightmares, and then literally waking up at my own funeral. It changed a lot about how I view things. The nightmares were so real, I can still recount them in detail. I dreamt so many things, fighting, getting kidnapped
This
and
is
tied
not
up on a
safe.
long train ride, that I couldn't get back home. Getting tortured, getting restrained. I couldn't find my family, and every time I would be able to get through on the phone, my husband's voice was so faint. I was living through World War I and lost my younger son, then became institutionalized and restrained. Honestly, it felt like lifetimes. Nothing made linear sense,
That's all I can
and it was
do.
terrifying. The final nightmare was attending my own funeral, but in like 1921. I was laid out
That's
in
a
a rural
fucking
chapel,
hook.
and I could feel people all around the very grave, and I thought I heard screaming and wailing. Turns out, that was me slowly coming up, and the beard I was laid out on was my hospital bed.
He
I
is
was lightly strapped in,
executing.
and the grave voices were real. It took me around 3 days to reorient to 2024 that I hadn't died and hadn't lost our younger son to violence. In fact, I only had one kid, anyway, and he was hale and hearty and right there. For days.
Oh shit!
I was
Oh shit! I almost played that shit off.
my two kids died. He had a name and everything. It was fucking terrible. I had what they call for about 3 to 4 months after.
Y'all maybe want to do the other fucking challenge. I'm finally getting changed.
5 mothers students.
Shit! 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 Shit!
Myself at first and basically only moved my fingers. Some stuff
Ah! Ha 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 ha!
during nightmares correlated with trauma that was happening to my body when the intubation was running. They couldn't get my sedation right for a few days, and I was in a light and apparently very mighty sleep. I punched several nurses and
Yeah, shout out to the bot.
and had to be restrained before I finally went all the way under.
So ain't nobody doing no gens.
I have zero recollection, but I do remember getting
Oh,
kidnapped
okay.
in my dream. So, I did go on an apology.
Yeah, you
tour
made
where
it back.
woke up and
I don't know
came to
what's
my
going
senses.
on with Twitch.
I
It's full
cried
of
when I
shit,
met
shit,
the nice
shit.
nurse I did. I was so fucking sorry. Honestly, it was terrifying all around, and the team was just happy I lived. Just before I got sick, I had read about a dozen books about World War I, including how easy it was for women to get incarcerated for just acting weird during that time. And to this day, I can't read or see anything about that time period without getting a shock. The amnesia was also incredibly hard to shake. I had to be filled in on the weekend after what I was feeling when I collapsed in the kitchen. I was so fucking confused waiting
Welcome back.
I was like, dude, what? We just went to that party, and then I canceled the next day's plans because I thought. And they were like,
You ain't
yeah,
even finished that
was
gym.
3 weeks ago now. I was very weak for months.
Or did you?
It took me about a month to be able to
No.
walk again.
Why everybody in here?
Walk on a system, like without no balance. I have everything back. I worked really hard after that to get healthy and fix so many things. I feel like I got to attend my own funeral and came back. I always appreciated life, but after all that, I know it's cliche.
I'm finna throw this phone. No, don't throw it. Then you won't have no phone.
Treasure just waking up. I was in a coma in the ICU on a ventilator for 18 days, and I woke up on day 1. It was sort of a dream/nightmare state. I didn't know who I was or where I was. There was a little whiteboard with some stuff written on it in the room. I was under really heavy sedation and pain medication, and in the coming days came to understand that I couldn't read. I could see the words on the page, but I couldn't make sense of them. When my wife arrived, it was reassuring, and I understood that she was there to protect me. I had developed ICU psychosis, which was treated with psych meds. I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks more, and then I was transferred to a rehab facility where I eventually regained my ability to walk. First with a walker, then with a cane, get in and out of a car, write my name, write the alphabet, over and over again. The muscles in my hands and arms had atrophied, and read. When I got home, I was still spending a lot of time in a wheelchair, but a therapist would come to the house 3 days a week, and I eventually got everything back. I had around 5,300 unanswered Gmail messages, which I eventually deleted. I was out of work for a couple of years.
Emergency alert. Bills are due. Wallet's empty. What do I do? I've got Bridget.
They deleted. I was out
Okay,
of
he
work
was
for a
over there
couple of
flowing.
years.
Not today.
Subdural hematoma and skull fracture from slipping on ice this past January. I had a
Alright, you
craniotomy,
bitches.
and we thought I was on the mend.
It's 3
5
gens,
days
bro.
later, on my birthday, my brain started to swell, and I had to have a second craniotomy. They intubated me, and I was under for 9 days. I had insanely wild
Sounds like
fever
a
dreams
plot
that
to
were
a
incredibly
movie.
detailed and bizarre. There were a few things that happened in my dream that, later
I
after
got
talking
an
to my
idea
family,
for a
were
movie.
seemingly related to
It
things
goes
happening
like
around me,
this.
but I had zero awareness it wasn't full reality. When I woke up,
I know that
it took a
song.
while to understand where I was and what was actually going on. It was terrifying. I was
Bitch.
in an induced coma for 4
Oh,
weeks,
shit, it's on the
October
other
to
side.
November 2020. I woke up confused and oddly calm. They had me put on an antidepressant since I have a history of anxiety. I remembered a lot of strange dreams, hearing people talk to me, and music that my mother would play for me. They had to tell me what happened a few times because of short-term memory, which only lasted a few days. I remember feeling like I was in the waiting area of an airport, as if I was waiting to catch a flight. I remember pleading with someone to let me come back to Earth, asking if I did something wrong to deserve this. The dreams shifted to political dreams because my partner had told me who won the presidential race in 2020. Lots of ethereal space-like dreams as well.
Interesting.
I was in a coma when I was 16 following a bad car wreck that killed 2 of my friends.
Damn.
I wasn't driving the car. There were 6 of us in a double cab pickup, and it rolled over, ejecting all of us. I can't explain what it was like when I woke up, but I remember being in a hospital bed and immediately not knowing how I got there or that I was even in a car wreck. My dad asked if I remembered anyone with me the night of the accident, but I couldn't remember. He reminded me of who was there, and then I suddenly remembered and asked how they were. He told me Tommy and Rachel didn't make it. I
Damn.
was in disbelief and didn't really have emotion at that moment. Again, it was a disorienting feeling trying to grasp how 2 weeks had passed and I slept through it. The funerals had already taken place for my friends. And it was
Damn.
kind of a miracle I survived it all. I never remembered the actual car crash, but they told me I was awake after it happened and was really aggressive when emergency help arrived. Like I wanted to fight them. I had a breathing tube down my throat and kept pulling it out. I suffered a broken ankle, broken vertebrae, a broken shoulder blade, cracked ribs, a pulmonary contusion, internal bleeding of the lungs, and my brain swelled slightly. The coma was a drug-induced coma to help me heal. I don't remember anything, and to put it simply, it was like taking a long nap without dreams. Terrifying.
Oh my god.
I was kidnapped from the hospital and sex trafficked. Also, my aunt and one of her druggy friends broke into my sister's house, but my Bill and nephew returned home while they were still
Bro,
there.
I will
My Bill
Hufflepuff in
and
this
nephew were
locker.
shot and killed. I also participated in a video game world tournament with one of my nurses. Coma dreams are insane, but I was also very mildly aware of what was happening around me. Oh,
May the
and at
best
one point,
damsel in
my
distress
ICU
win.
room turned into one of those roaming glass balls from the new Jurassic Park movies, but it wouldn't move. So I was
Interesting.
just stuck in a hot little glass ball. Then on another day, my hospital bed was put into the back of a truck, and we drove up into the mountains. Then the
Oh.
truck shifted from horizontal to vertical, and it became a medical
I was
testing
gonna say, yeah,
facility.
it's a gym
The
down
dreams
here
were so real.
in this room.
Not in a coma, but in high school, I was giving blood at a blood drive they were doing at my high school, and I guess the nurse who was handling my donation did something wrong because I was talking to a friend of mine, and mid-sentence I said, "Man, I don't feel good," and I passed out. Evidently, the bag filled up way too quickly, and I lost consciousness. I came to some minutes later, completely
This
unaware
nigga
of how long
scared
I was
me.
out, but it felt like no time had passed, although I had blood all over my shirt and pants. My buddy said I passed out and started shaking, and a needle came out of my arm, and there was a lot of blood. For a few years after that, I experienced random drops in blood pressure where I thought I was going to pass out, seemingly from nowhere. Anyway, yeah, not a coma story, but I think I lost blood too rapidly that I completely just lost consciousness, and it was like the blink of an eye, but from my buddy's description, there was a decent amount happening while I was unconscious. I was put into a medically induced coma for a week after I got my shit rocked in a crash. It sucked balls. 1, I could hear what was going on, but had zero ways to communicate. 2, the hallucinations/nightmares were really fucked, but that's to be expected from anyone who goes into a coma due to a traumatic event. And 3, I couldn't tell what was real and what was a dream for a very long time, and still have
His
moments
ass
where I
died,
have loud
Sabat.
and severe auditory hallucinations that convince me I'm back in my non-consensual nap time. Also, something that isn't well known is that after an extended period of strong as shit meds and not moving, besides when the nurses roll you like a Cali roll, your muscles forget how to work. It took me about a month of rehab to get enough strength to lift a large cup of water. But, it was absolutely necessary, and although it was scary as shit, I survived my less than 10% survival chance thanks to the fucking amazing, strong, and caring nurses and specialists.
Is he
I was
letting
able to
about
return to
live?
my babies and my future husband. Still, 010 would not recommend.
010
Short on
now.
cash? Need up to $35,000 fast? Apply in just 2 minutes. No hidden fees. All credit types considered. Fast, secure, and
Stay at that
100%
gym.
online. Check how much you can get today. Fast Loan Advance. A smarter way to borrow.
Recommend. I was in a coma for approximately 2 weeks. My medical records say Glasgow coma scale of 7. I don't remember anything. I remember waking up tied down to a bed in a hospital. The nurse told me that I had tried to get up and that if I got up and got hurt, he would be responsible. When I had the accident, I had a closed head injury, and I was paralyzed on my right side. They left me tied down for a while until I was transferred to an army hospital. I had to learn how to walk and talk again. I was able to talk when I woke up, but I was stuttering enough to require speech therapy for a few
He's
months.
safe.
It took a while before I could walk again, and a few months until I could leave the hospital. One of the things I remember was the orientation tests when I woke up. The doctors or nurses asked simple questions like, "What is your name? What day is it? Where were you born? And who is the president?" I believe I may have answered Ronald Reagan a few years after George H.W. Bush 41 was elected. I have a weird memory of the scene from the movie Born in East LA where they ask who the president is and he answers that actor. I had gone from running 10 miles per day to not being able to walk. My mom said that she had talked to me while I was at St. Joseph Barrow Neurological Hospital, but I only remember the days after I came out of the coma before I was transferred to the Army hospital. My mom came to the hospital, and she would push me around in the wheelchair. I never regained my physical abilities after the accident.
Yeah.
I ride a bicycle a lot, but I never really started running again, and I never regained my strength after the accident.
Fucking
Most
way
people
to
would
live.
never notice anything wrong with me, but there was
Well,
enough
this
damage for me to be
goddamn
medically retired from the Army. It has been 30 years since the accident, so I don't
It's
remember
gonna
the
be a
details that
long
well.
match.
I was in a coma for 6 days following a car accident. When I woke up, I was, for some reason, very angry at my mom and my girlfriend's boss. Didn't have a reason to be before, never understood why I woke up mad at only these two people. Otherwise, I was in a good mood. Turns out, my mom was in the room with my girlfriend and kept insisting that I would be in a wheelchair and have to be spoon-fed the rest of my life. My girlfriend's boss had called her 3 days after the event, ringing her out, saying, "I need to know when you're going to be back because we need the staff." The doctor said that when someone is in a coma, they can still hear what's going on around them. However, because their brain is still healing, and they aren't technically conscious, they can still feel emotions but never remember what was said. I am also a huge believer in proven theory. That's just a word I made up, I think, but basically I believe that if someone is going to say something, they better have some form of proof to back it up. Then my car accident happened. What I've seen, I expect others like old me to argue. My grandmother passed away just under a year prior. My one grandfather passed away about 12 years earlier, and my other grandfather I never actually got to meet. But I also recall being in a dark room and seeing all three of them. I ran to give them a hug, for obvious reasons, but they kept backing up, saying, "Not yet." I'm sure science will say something that makes sense, but I refuse to believe it. I was stabbed in the heart in an attempted murder. Emergency open heart surgery later. I was put in an induced coma. I was awake and very aware throughout the entirety of the ordeal up until when they cut me open. In my unconscious coma state, I was in bed with this lady standing at the foot of my bed telling me I should sleep. When I tried to sit up, she conjured a heavy comforter-like blanket that dropped on me and pinned me in bed and said that I shouldn't struggle if I was so tired. I should sleep. I remember screaming and screaming under the weight of the blanket, just try and keep Elf awake. Falling asleep was the last thing I wanted. Suddenly I was just underwater, in bed but submerged, and my screams were muffled. The lady was still at the foot of my bed, her voice unencumbered or muffled, unlike my screams, which just became garbled and weak and faint. "Sleep," she repeated intermittently. "Sleep."
Sleep.
I can't explain how I did it, I just never gave up. I beckoned and invoked God in the name of everything that is good and in the name of Jesus. I begged the universe to lend me energy, strength from the cosmos to save myself. I bargained and agreed to suffer whatever would result from waking, whatever pain came afterwards. I knew what was going on at this point. I knew this was it. It was Hail Mary time. I was running out of options and losing. I don't know how I knew, but I was losing. With every ounce of will that I had left, I let out a final defiant scream like a toddler that doesn't want to go to take his nap, like a Super Saiyan transcending his limits.
Not a Super Saiyan.
Maybe it was the prayer of
Transcending his
bargain
limits.
with the universe. Maybe it was simply my defiance and pure stubbornness. The lady vanished. My bed rushed up to the water's surface, or maybe the water level lowered, whatever. I broke through the water and jumped out from under the blanket and out of the bed. And I woke up. I had a tube sticking out of my face, breathing for me. My doctor and family were there, and I couldn't breathe. I didn't want this machine breathing for me.
Gotta watch
I wanted to
them
breathe
traps.
for myself. They quickly realized what was going on and rushed to take the tube out of my throat. I thanked God and Jesus and the universe and the stars. I thanked the doctors and the nurses and everything and everyone that I could. I was just so happy to breathe. Every now and then I remember that nightmare and the lady and her cold voice, and I thank everything.
Sleep.
I call my mom
Sleep.
just to hear her.
That
and I
bitch
smile
was telling
at
that
her,
nigga to
thankful her voice
sleep.
would die in the street like an animal. It's the
Don't
worst thing I'm
move.
thankful
Sleep.
for. It's opened my eyes in many ways, but I
Or
was
do
never
you
so
wanna
thankful like
die?
in that moment. And when I remember, I try to be as thankful as I can.
Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. All that work and what did it get me? Why did I do it?
Strong enough to know that you have
I don't see it.
so even when you have a big special,
Oh my god. Oh! There's nowhere to be found.
I was in a coma for 2 weeks after getting toxic shock from back surgery.
No damsel in distress winning. No.
By the afternoon, I was confused and having trouble
Big ass man. Oh, this bitch gonna be in a coma.
The last thing I heard the doctor say was, "Fuck." I woke up
Jesus.
I didn't see a light, but I could. However, I did have a dream that I was taken to a cavernous room that was very dark. On one huge wall was a picture of a puzzle that had pieces missing. A voice was talking to me about the puzzle. It told me that the puzzle was the story of my life and that there were still pieces missing.
Oh
The
damn.
puzzle wasn't complete, so I had to go back. The voice told me that when I went back, I needed to remember what had happened there and that I needed to tell people. It was a very comforting feeling. When they were transporting me to ICU, my mother was in the elevator with me. She had been dead for almost 4 years by then. I saw her one other time while I was in the ICU, and it was when I was having a hypertensive crisis. The worst part of it all for me was when I was extubated. When they removed the breathing tube, you have to be awake. It's like trying to breathe through a straw. It's absolutely horrible. Also, my husband made a CD for me. This was in 2004, which they played while I was in my coma. A few years later, I found this CD in a drawer and didn't know what was on it, so I played it. As soon as the music started, I started bawling. I didn't know why. My husband came to see what was wrong. I told him I didn't know. He then realized what CD it was. He told me he had made it, and it was played for me while I was in my coma. I had no idea until then that it was made. My sister said every time she came to see me, she would whisper in my ear, "Don't you fucking die." I'm sorry it was so long. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Not sure if this counts as a coma per se, but during my junior year of high school I contracted viral meningitis and thought it was just a really bad flu. The last thing I remember was puking in my sink, then stumbling into my room, and then just black. Apparently my mom found me seizing on the floor, so I was taken to the hospital, where they told my mom the next 24 hours would determine if I lived or died. I have no memory of this myself, but apparently during either the first or second day I was in the hospital, I went absolutely postal, as my brain was swollen, and tried to fight the doctors and nursing staff, screaming I wasn't going to let them kill me. I guess I was in absolute survival mode, so they had to have several nursing staff along with my family hold me down while I was being sedated. Now again, I don't remember any of this, but I clearly remember some sort of dream where my face was being pressed into a pillow and I was being held down. After this I was out for about 3 days. The first day I woke up, I don't remember, but my mom said she could tell by looking at me I was not lucid, and I guess I kept asking where I was before going under again. The next day I remember, I woke up and the doctor came in and made a joke along the lines of, "Oh wow, you're alive." And that was a really big what the fuck moment for me. Then my mom came in and broke into tears, saying she knew I was really conscious this time because she could see it in my eyes. Anyways, the whole experience was like a really long sleep. I only had the one dream of being held down. Though I do recall at one point I was able to think semi-clearly even though I wasn't conscious, I guess. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I was able to think about how this sleep was very long, and I questioned whether I was alive or not. Also, when I first tried standing up, I heard a liquid splatter on the floor and realized I'd shat my assless hospital gown, which was a side effect of all the meds they pumped into me. I was not informed of this side effect until after the fact. Anyways, walking was hard for the first few days, and I felt very weak for a while. I was also an athlete, but after the fact I was unable to play football and rugby, as a hit to the head could kill me, so I had to hold off for a year, but when I returned my hand-eye coordination was still very off for a while. All in all it was an interesting experience. I think it made me realize how mortal I am, as I could have died then and there and not have even known it. Disorienting. I was out for 2 days when I was 11 years old, in a literal diabetic coma. It's how I was diagnosed. I have flashes of being surrounded by a flurry of nurses and doctors and then nothing. I woke up in the ICU, confused. I remember not being surprised when I heard the diagnosis. It felt like I already knew somehow. I thought that was it until I spoke with my mom recently. I mentioned the boy in the ICU bed across from me. How vividly I remember his constant screaming that first day, soon replaced by very poignant silence. My mom said she recalled, but I shouldn't. He was there when I first entered the ICU but was gone long before I came to after the second day. To be fair though, I had started hallucinating shortly before slipping into the coma, so maybe I just dreamed it. The crazy part, though, is I can physically see him in my memory, and the description matches what mom remembered. Brains are weird. I was very young, like 8 years old or something. I had a very serious allergy, which affected my breathing, and I felt the worst an 8-year-old could ever feel. My legs were killing me to the point where I could barely walk. My dad went full speed in the car to the hospital, where, when I got out of the car, I immediately passed out in his arms. He carried me into the ER. I didn't remember anything. Later I woke up to see my dad telling me, "Everything is going to be alright," and I panicked because I could feel my body and stuttered the words, "What's wrong with me?" The last thing I remembered was when one of the doctors stuck a needle into my leg. I didn't feel anything, and at the time it looked like he stabbed me. I panicked and just blacked out. I ended up waking up in the morning the next day in my bed, forgot about the entire thing, and only remembered my dad's crazy driving skills on the way to the hospital. Later on over the months I started to recall what happened at the times I was awake. Motorcycle wreck. They
Shout
kept me
out
under
to
for 8
the
days. Apparently I would come in
birds.
and out of the coma and say crazy things, but I don't remember anything until the 8th day. The first dream was in an old Victorian. Old-time tools and shit. I was laid out on the kitchen table talking to the maid, almost certainly a nurse, because she kept telling me how good I was doing.
Oh,
Second,
I'm just now
I was
seeing
in,
this message.
like, a civil war.
I'm late. My bad, cuz I'm all late. I'm just now seeing that message. I'm like, ooh. Oh, no. Console. I have someone who's more into that, but I don't know too much on PC. No, I'm not there yet. You got one? Oh. Oh yeah, that's just very detailed. I don't know too much on that. Okay, I'm just like, damn. I just not seen the message. Okay. All right, love you too. Be safe. All right. Okay. I thought it was something. Okay. He trying to ask about some gaming shit on PC. I don't know too much on PC. I thought you was streaming on PC the whole time. Now, nigga, you know you be seeing me on the PlayStation Live. Do you hear me?
Everyone had fake British accents and swore
He got a
we were
VR
in
though. He
production.
should play on the VR.
Pump music
Ooh-wee.
by the Nitro City Jungle Test. Offered my cousin $10,000 to get me out of the hospital. Ripped my chest tubes and intubation out of my throat and climbed halfway out of bed. They thought this might kill me.
PC too
I had
high tech
pneumonia,
for
which was
me.
already about to kill me. When I came to, I thought I was on some Disneyland type ride around the hospital to different stations. It was wacky. Then
Maybe
the
that
first
was in
night
the
I'd wake
game.
up every hour, and I thought there was a furnace around the corner glowing out the window with people out working around it. I was on the 10th floor. There was just a reflection of the hallway.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Oh, yes, sir. All right, who's ready to kick off the season?
10th floor. There was just a reflection of the hallway. A little backstory. I've had nightmares since I was a little kid, varying from monsters in the closet to seeing people die. I got hit by a car and went under for a week. During that time, I had nightmares worse than any of the ones I've previously had. The one I remember most is about getting hit by the car and waking up to see people looking down at me. They didn't move or say anything, and they had this weird blank look in their eyes. It was almost as if they were looking past me. I stand up and ask what the hell is going on, but they're still looking
Play
down
about
at the
1-2
ground.
more
I look
matches.
down too and see an endless void below me. Then I
It's been a
start
day
falling.
today.
I try screaming and
My
calling for
body's
help,
hurting.
but there's no sound. It's like the sound is
Like a
being
hot
consumed by
shower.
the void around me. Looking up, I can see the getting further and further away. It felt
You can get
surreal.
on some call.
Eventually, I can't see anything.
Call of
And it's
Duty.
just black, but darker, more oppressive. I remember thinking, it's like the black is glowing.
I don't know if I'm gonna go
Suddenly,
out
I
tonight
hit
or
the
not.
ground
I
hard.
don't know.
The pain I felt from landing was excruciating for a few seconds. Then it was gone in the blink of an eye. It's still dark, but at least I wasn't falling. I walk around trying to figure out what the
Who
fuck
got
is
lit?
going on for what felt like hours. Then I
Oh,
started
that's
to feel a low sound
liquor.
all around me. It's like a very deep bass that just keeps getting louder and louder.
Shit, I had
Tried
a cut
covering
water
my ears,
last night.
but it was
Good
useless. It
lord.
just kept getting louder.
That whole,
I closed my
I think
eyes,
it was
as
the
if that had
mango
helped,
something.
and
That
curled up
shit
on the
was
ground. Eventually it
12%.
stops. I open my eyes again.
I actually
but now I
woke
see
up
something
this
very
morning. I
far
mean,
away.
I was fine. I only drunk one.
I get up and start walking
But
to it. As I get closer,
that
I
shit
can
was
start hearing
liquor.
I can make out
Oh,
or he's coming.
them
Can it
cut,
see
them
us?
water cuts,
I
them
feel
cut
weird.
waters
There's
is
nothing I can do.
liquor.
Help. I can feel
Liquor,
Hear the dead.
especially when you get to the
Someone's
bottom of
coming.
the can.
Help. Where is he?
I see
I want
why
to go home. The gods are dead.
we ain't
No
read
hope.
the can
Help.
until after we
whispers
started
are
drinking it. I
overlapping
see
so
why
much
they
that
say
I feel
pour
like
it
I'm
over
in another
ice.
room.
I don't know if you need to
I
shake
get a
them
little
hoes
closer
up
to the light,
before you
then
drink it
stop.
or whoosh
It
around.
changed. There are two now.
Them
It
cut
looks
waters
like a
ain't
pair of
no
eyes. I
bitch.
feel a chill run
Y'all
through
gotta
my body
add
when it
a
blinks.
minute and 40
The voices
seconds
stop
if you're not
immediately when it
scrubble
does.
to the
Then one more says, it sees you. It blinks again. When it opens its eyes, it's a few inches from me, but I still can't see what it is. I can smell
I
the
might
decay
take
and
a
death.
nap.
The deafening bass starts again, and the area
Try
around
to
me
get
lights
on
up.
some Call of
It isn't
Duty
blinding,
with me.
but I can see what's in front of me now.
Call me
It
and
looked
be
like
like,
a
hi,
zombie or some
Brandy.
shit that you'd pull straight out of
Be
a
like,
horror game.
ooh,
I remember thinking, Okay, time to wake up. But I didn't. I couldn't. When I realized that, I turned around to run away, but I saw thousands of eyes behind me. The light goes away just as one lunges at me. I could feel them grabbing at me. They didn't try eating me or whatever, but they're just touching me. I could feel their hands everywhere. Some of them are missing fingers or skin or are just bone. I opened my mouth to scream, but a hand jabs into my mouth. The taste was awful. It keeps going deeper and deeper into my mouth. I tried taking it out, but it was like grabbing onto air. There was nothing I could do.
I'll definitely be in a Discord if anyone is looking for me, so if you have the Discord, I'll
There isn't a hand in my mouth. There aren't monsters.
All
I
night
can't smell
long,
anything.
all
I'm
night.
still in the void, though.
All
I hear a demonic
night
voice
long.
say, "You cannot escape. You are damned here forever." I still have nightmares about that to this
Now
day.
you are damn here
I don't believe
forever.
in God or heaven or hell, but I genuinely believe I was in hell.
Slugging?
Back in the real world, as my dad would tell me, I would make these weird guttural
You're not
groans,
even
open
recovering.
my eyes, get really, really pale, and my heartbeat would go up randomly. In 2003, I had a massive asthma
Oh, they
attack.
took the gin out of
It
you.
was so bad, I couldn't move, and my bladder released on its own. The last thing I remember was someone in the ER asking, "How do we get her shirt off?" And someone else saying, "Cut it off."
Damn, this like the third trapper.
I was waking up
I ain't
in
been
the
paying
ICU
attention to the
watching
names.
Tuesday. I just wanted to watch my soap opera. It was right where I left it, so I didn't think anything of it. My mom and pastor kept talking about what a difficult week it had been. I had no idea what they meant. I started to get suspicious, so I asked my mom what day it was, and she replied, "Tuesday." I did recall that I had come into the ER late on a Tuesday, so I asked her how it could still be Tuesday. She answered, "No, honey, it's next Tuesday." I thought I had just passed out in the ER. No, intubation and medically induced coma. The reason my soap opera was right where I left it? Because the Space Shuttle Columbia had exploded while I was out. I even watched the memorial service for it, thinking how sad it was. It took me a couple of days to realize I had no idea what had happened. My story is super long and intense, but to boil it down, I spent just shy of 2 months in the coma and first had an experience where I met my grandparents and was
I'm the
being
only one
taken on
doing
a plane with
gins.
them to go home. Never got to our destination because my next memory was a terrifying recount of the baptism that was happening in real life, which my mom had done. It was absolutely horrifying for me, as I would have never in my life wanted it done to me. After that, my consciousness of the physical world was only mostly crashes where I wasn't getting enough oxygen as my lungs failed, but I spent the rest of my time hanging out in what was essentially a hall of my memories in my life, traveling back through a distorted version of events that happened in my life. When I was pulled from sedation and started to wake up,
Nice
I was very
slugging.
confused.
This gonna
because
piss
I had
me
just taken
mad.
the memories from about 5 years prior to my coma, and I was adamant that I had been back in my home state on the other side of the country, running barefoot after fleeing from my car to get away from my abusive ex. It was a real memory, just an old one. Also, the weird painkiller delusions that happened when I was awake after my coma were far
Oh my
more warped and
gosh.
terrifying than the ones I experienced during my coma. I was in a medically induced coma for 2 weeks. I remember
I did look
being
at one
so
of them.
deeply asleep that I couldn't wake myself up. I could feel someone squeezing me, and I tasted something minty in my throat. They were doing CPR and intubated me. I saw a very bright light, and then I heard the laughter of friends who had passed away years ago. When I woke, I didn't know where I was, didn't
I gotta
know my
eventually
name,
get out of here.
phone number, or address, and all I could do was think about trying to escape out the window since I was in the ICU on the ground floor. I remember being strapped to the bed and waking up to these really nasty bruises all over my arms and legs, presumably because I was struggling when they used the defibrillator. I heard all of the conversations between nurses and staff when I was out, but I couldn't respond. I remember an orderly complaining that he had never kissed a woman, and a night shift nurse obliged and gave him a full-on French kiss. Another clerk said she'd never kiss a minority. I remember. My face had a full beard, didn't really have facial hair, and my legs had so much
Oh!
These
That's
were
it.
quad/thighs and calves, but they looked like they were the legs of one. It took me days to
Damn.
learn how to walk again. I remember 2 things. I was very hungry, and I needed to take a
Now he had them trapped. Right. Everyone turned into a bot.
So you found an awesome job post. When your resume's outdated, don't worry. With Adobe Acrobat Pro,
This bruh slugging. Now he can slug bots. I don't blame him. Everyone turn. Yeah, you can slug bots, bitch.
Want to modify and in seconds.
Trapper ass bitch. See who's streaming. I need a nap or something. Send y'all over to Green Eagle. Get some more DVD action. Wait, let me make sure. You got a lot of people. Alright. This is somebody new who followed me. It was a follow. Lady Daytona. She's on Call of Duty. She plays that a lot. I go check her out. Tell her I said, wow. I'm always gaming. I'll be back on later, y'all. I just need a break. It's been a day. It's been a while.
The raid, welcome in Raiders, W Raid. What up, Tasmania here? Welcome to the stream, how was the game? Hope you had a good streaming game.
Hardcore search and destroy. Those pathetic Crimson bastards.
I get over now. I can look everybody.